Hello there, friends. Just getting things started for a playoff stream. Yes, ATN in the chat knows already. This is apparently supposed to be a spicy one. We'll examine the reasoning for that in just a moment. One thing we're going to need is Twitch chat. There you are, Twitch chat. That is indeed exactly what this is going to be, Moondoggy. We're, I think, going to see a 500-page essay regardless of who wins this match. Hopefully, anyway. Okay, here we are. Don't mind me over here hiding behind the stream title. Yes, so here we have it. We're in Group G. This is the group where my auto battle team unfortunately lost versus Hayl while I was eating many sweets and snacks at a dinner party. It was worth it. I still haven't watched this match, by the way. Maybe I should go back and do this after this Hayl versus Hakuo match is over. That could be hilarious. Or not. But either way, apparently, so here's the drama behind this match. Apparently, Hayl and Hakuo had agreed earlier to play their match out before playoffs. The time slot for playoffs is not exactly great for either of them. So they wanted to play in advance just to make it a little bit easier on scheduling and whatnot. And apparently Hakuo's game disconnected during that match. But there's much speculation in main chord, of course, main chord being main chord, that the disconnect was not entirely on the up and up. It would be very interesting to me, actually, to see, because I wasn't there for the match that they played earlier. It would be very interesting for me to see whether Hakuo and Hayl are both using the same box that they used for that earlier played in advance match. But anyway, Hakuo disconnected, so the match could not be legitimately completed. So I guess neither player needs to abide by the results of that match. And thus, here we are with a live match between Hayl and Hakuo. Dreadful Cobra, welcome to the stream. Well, I suppose I better post this so main chord knows that I'm streaming. One moment. Okay, so it looks like we are going to have Hayl coming in as player 1 on Plains of Strife. I haven't really even seen his box. But it looks like both players are going to ditch the AOs. So the interesting thing about Hakuo's box, I guess, is that he's got Archon in here. Kind of a gutsy play for game 1, not really knowing what your map is going to be, or, I mean, I guess he knew that Hayl is going to have Hilda in the box at least. Maybe he's going to try to do something about that. If Archon even ends up being... Oh, yeah, sure enough, we get the first tank down is the Hilda. So that, at least, it doesn't commit him to playing Archon, but at least keeps his Archon in the mix in case he wants to go there at some point. Hayl may also feel pressured to ban it. So Hayl was angry on main chord, swearing he'll never ask for advance again. Personally, I wouldn't ask for... I don't like the idea of playing in advance, hence why I auto-battled against Hayl last week. We probably could have played that in advance, but like... Not to say that I don't trust anyone on main chord, but it's too easy to forget or to not abide by it. I don't know, I just don't like the idea. But I would also never forfeit. I hate forfeiting. If I can find a way to sneak off to the bathroom for 5 minutes and log into my match, I will do that. So Hayl does go ahead and pick Lightbringer second as his tank, knowing that both his tanks were going to be easy to ban out if he didn't pick one. Yeah, I'll have to go back to main chord and look up that, like, what happened around that match time, because I want to see what Hayl was saying. And I mean, some of the people who are in this chat and watching for drama purposes are saying that there's going to be a novel posted on main chord after this match, regardless of whether Hayl wins or loses. It'll be very interesting to see if Hakuo pulls this out and eliminates Hayl. After that, just a little bit of tantalizing appetizer spice to see what Hayl's reaction to that is going to be. So we have the Lostum. Lostum is nice on this map. Hayl whipping out the Owlboy too, having already banned the Rosen Seal. What else do we have for healing in Hakuo's box? Nothing. So getting the jump on Hakuo with Owlboy is potentially going to be something that can, if not cripple Hakuo's team, at least significantly impact it. Even just from a pure damage standpoint. So Hakuo, for his part, is securing the Oboro, hoping to be able to rely on that Oboro to carry him versus Hayl's tank. But that said, Hayl is doing a good job of picking up some DPS who can be really annoying to Hakuo's team. I mean, even just this Owlboy and Annie alone versus no healer, that's going to have potential to really mess up Hakuo's team. Certainly enough that I don't know if he's going to want to be able to, or maybe he isn't going to try to, like, sit back and wait and let Oboro transform to carry him. I mean, he does have 4 DPS here, so it's not like he has to huddle around that Oboro to wait for it to transform and then Oboro be his only team carry. He does have lots of units here who can go toe-to-toe with Hayl's team. The Lostum, at least to start, is the only one who can get around the guard, so Hayl may want to move up with his Lightbringer. I don't think they're necessarily going to try to jump right into a trade game right away. Hayl doesn't really need to do that. He has, like, Annie can be a good springboard for the other characters on this team, so they can kind of move up slowly and set up a combo attack. Yeah, even if Lostum gets the opportunity to jump in and take out one of these, that would kind of even the odds a bit, I think. Okay. Time for me to settle in. I was just running errands and stuff until about 10 minutes ago, so I just kind of got back to the studio, saw that this match was just about to start and generating some controversy hype, so I thought I'd hop on, see what we could see. I haven't really been paying attention, partly because I couldn't play. I haven't really been paying attention to like what's going on in playoffs this season. So I'm feeling a little bit out of the loop, to be honest, in terms of trends and offering analysis and stuff like that. So really for this match, just going to kind of settle in, watch the game with you all. Well, apparently Nuko is reporting in Discord that there are a lot of forfeits so far this round. Okay. So yeah, we do have the AoE on the Owl, AoE on Annie as well. Very unsurprising. Usually Lost Him likes a little bit of help with Breeze or Accelerated Aid or something like that on this map. But if he's not concerned about jumping in right on turn 1, that's fine. He can kind of get set up, try to pick out a target, and then see what Hayl gives him next turn. Oh, and it looks like Hakuo is going to be running back and spreading out, so he's preparing himself to not be vulnerable to a big opening AoE burst. So that's the hope, anyway. Okay, chat, place your bets. Who's winning game 1? Is it going to be Hayl or Coomliness? Hayl having a bunch of AoEs versus Hakuo with no healer can be mitigated by positioning. If Hayl simply can't blast Hakuo's entire team with AoEs, then he doesn't need to heal his whole team back. Or doesn't need to worry about not being able to do that. Dreadful Cobra thinks Hayl's gonna win, but sounds like rooting for Coomliness instead. That's what we like, even more drama. Forcing people to choose sides. ATN really cheering hard against Hayl. That's how I interpret that comment, at least. Even though Coomliness was potentially the one who did something sus earlier, people are still kind of rooting for him. Was it just because of the scale of Hayl's reaction when it happened? Okay, interesting. It sounds pretty unanimous for Coomliness. Now I really have to go back and see what Hayl said. Okay, so it's not even what he said already in response to what happened earlier. It's just people are hoping to see the delicious follow-up. Salt. I mean, I personally wouldn't mind seeing Hayl lose this one. But that's mainly because Hakuo has eliminated me from playoffs 0 times, and Hayl has eliminated me from playoffs twice. So there is a minor Kong grudge. Kong grunge is what I'm currently sitting here in right now. Yeah, Hayl and me, we're 2-1 in playoffs in general. He's eliminated me twice, and I've eliminated him once. Tiamat, way funnier if Hayl loses. Welcome to the stream, by the way. It's letting me know that you're a first-time chat. Come on. Gotta get on those Kong streams more often, brother. Hakuo is really spread out here and really backed off these portals, not giving Hayl an opening to kind of springboard anyone through there and be able to get a hit off. They do last for several turns, though, so the fog is moving in. Hakuo is eventually going to have to move up. The question is, will Hayl still be in a position to take advantage of that when a few turns go by? Okay, McLean catches a breeze there. Which is enough for him to reach Oboro. He has turn priority as well. So he can still act again from just outside of Hilda's range. Range attack this and then back up back to water, but the thing is, we've got Hilda's anti-crit aura on this Oboro. Okay. So Hayl able to reach and open the proceedings with Owlboy. It would be funny if Hilda's tiles affected the owl too, so he wasn't able to move again. But I know the owl's not actually a guy. Hakuo using up turns with these. Still another turn of no skills. Okay, so potentially gonna see some follow-up here with Annie. Hayl is totally fine wailing on these units here. Hakuo is a little bit on his heels up here with his other units, so it's not like they can jump down into the action to retaliate against any of this. So Hayl not smoking them with these AoEs is totally fine in his books. As long as he can pester these units, he really only has to deal with a couple follow-up DPS. I mean, Zerda, I guess, can teleport to her teammates. Let's see, what is this Lostum gonna do? Just a random 3C into a definitely immune Lightbringer. To me, that reads like a might as well do something play. Like, his units are just kind of sitting there. So might as well throw some damage on. Of course, now it looks like this lost him as toast. Kind of a more appealing target for Hayl to go for than trying for this Oboro or going in really deep against that Oboro. I don't know, I think, I mean, even if Oboro survives long enough to be able to transform, he's got a lot of work ahead of him. Even the Zerida is counterbalanced by Hayl's own Zerida, so this looks like quite an uphill battle for Coomliness. Who's the guy from Sword Memory, GS? Who's Tiny playing against? Tiny's on another one of those newer servers, and I know he's a big Ancient Beckoning player. So I have a feeling he's probably a whale? Maybe a tiny whale? But, I know he's still in the playoffs, but I think he had a good opponent. Oh, Ozma's still in as well. Nice. Definitely cheering for Ozma. Yeah, I didn't see who their opponents were. But we can go and check after this match. I actually can't spend too much time like rewatching replays after this game because I also have a responsibility to feed my family. It's a very lazy Saturday here at the Kong household, so we're having a late... We slept in and we're having a late supper. But potentially tomorrow. Maybe what we'll do tomorrow is have like a playoff recap fest. Go through some of the interesting looking games and watch through some replays. Tiny's against Sui. Oh, okay. Well, that's a tough match. As long as Sui shows up. That'll be a tough one for Tiny. Oh, Tiny was looking for someone to pilot. I was gonna say, hopefully either he found someone or he's just playing it himself, because it sounds like it wasn't an insta forfeit. Well, the thing is, we're kind of out of AOs on Hayl's side, AoEs on Hayl's side for a couple turns at least. Like, we have this one, but Annie needs to be in there to really use it. So yeah, he's going to go with a single target on Hilda. Takes out the Hilda, thanks to no revive. That does reactivate the Gintoki. But he doesn't even need to worry about the availability of his AoEs anymore, since he can single target pick away. I guess this Oboro is kind of ready to transform, but an injured Oboro can only do so much against 4 DPS. Is this skin gonna explode anyone? Not quite. Not quite good enough. Yeah, Zerda can get at Gintoki. She'll have to melee him, though, to stay in guard range. If she wanted to air slash, she's going to be happy to melee him. Yeah, he's toast. Sadly, Hakuo, no real way to do anything about this. Zerda can come down. Really, all she can do is hit Lightbringer. Okay, hit and kill Lightbringer. That's still fine. We've got a Zerda versus Zerda battle. Hayl still with turn priority. Oboro currently untransformed, which means he's dead. Well, that takes the first life. Oh, she's going to get it back from the Zera Ball generated by Oboro's death. Okay, and Coomliness concedes that match. So we're basically back to where we were earlier this afternoon when Hakuo disconnected and basically lost the first game. That was kind of a reset match for Hayl. He will be happy with that result. And now things are basically going to start over from where they would have been if the playing it early match had actually been allowed to continue. So let's see what we've got in the side boxes. Yeah, Moon is right. It's just a question of the flavor of the salt. The smugness is a little less satisfying, I suppose. Hayl is the one who's changing up his box, bringing up Rosen, bringing up Oboro, potentially preparing himself for a little bit more of a defensive game in Game 2. But it's a double AO first ban match again. And Hakuo going with the first pick lost him, so he likes that lost him. Didn't do too much last game because he was effectively zoned out. And yeah, Hayl first picking this Rosen, so he's certainly going to be getting a tank next, and he's going to hole up. Honestly, I mean, Hayl for several seasons had a reputation as a turtley player, but I haven't seen him play that style in a long time. Be interesting to see if he still has the chops. He's going to need to pick a tank here because of that Hilda ban. And that, whichever tank he picks, is going to give Hakuo the opportunity to ban out his Oboro, because Hakuo is definitely not going to want to play against Rosen tank Oboro combo. That was what Hakuo was missing in the first game, was a healer like Rosen. If he had his tank and his Oboro, and also his Rosen, he wouldn't have been as worried about Owl AoEs, for example. The Rosen also largely negates the Poly. Don't have to worry about stun from D-Heart or losing your revive to Zerda. The Rosen doesn't necessarily entirely negate Leon. Leon's still monstrous against Rosen, but it does make him slightly less monstrous at least. So yeah, Hakuo is going to load up on Assassins while he can to try to see if he can pluck one of Hayl's units from guard. If this was still the Hayl of the old days, who specifically built all of his units to be able to withstand assassination attempts, that might still be a tricky proposition. Okay, with the Oboro off the table, Hayl's getting McLean instead. We saw him put his McLean to use last game. He wasn't really needed as much. Hey Soda, you can see this little V for Hayl right here. Hayl won the first game. It was a little bit of a mismatched game. Hayl had some strong AoEs and got the jump on Hakuo. Hakuo tried to spread out, but couldn't quite avoid that first AoE jump. And then he was on his heels from there, and Hayl basically just had to clean up. So yeah, here we've got another interesting pick on Hakuo's side. He's got a couple of Assassins in the mix, but then he goes for this Polyol. Possibly just going for a brute force damage Polyol, but this Rosen Seal is going to make things difficult for her. Okay, then Hayl bans out the Gintoki and the Leon, leaving Zerida up. And another tank that's not really going to help Hakuo all that much. This D-Heart is interesting. To my mind, he looks kind of like low-hanging fruit, like he's one assassinatable unit on Hayl's side. So that might be an appealing target for like Lostum or Hakuo's own D-Heart to actually try to get a kill there. On the other hand, I don't know how Hayl's D-Heart is built, so maybe he's a weird bulky D-Heart. Okay, and for his last pick, Hayl is picking up another healer, another kind of pseudo-tank. Not that the Lancer tank is really going to do too much against some assassins, but could come in handy when skills are down. And she's also got an Act again, so this is a really good utility 5th pick. There wouldn't have really been anything wrong with the Zerida 5th pick either. The only thing is you're kind of up against 2.5 tanks here, so her brute output is a little bit less useful. But she would have been a fine pick as well. The second tank on Hakuo's side, I feel like having Hilda there is really just to kind of mess with the assassination potential of the D-Heart and the McLean on the other side. both by putting the anti-crit aura up, and also by giving her some tiles to play with. Okay, so we have the same. So she has her trample, she also has her push. Okay, that makes the Polyol pick make a little bit more sense. That said, let's keep an eye on Hayl's procs when he's done moving with these units to see if they have electric headgear on. I'd be kind of surprised if someone like Hayl wasn't decked out with electric headgear. That didn't look like it. The faction buff on the D-Heart is also kind of interesting. Alright, so Hayl's gonna have to look out for poly displacement. That's what she brings to the table now. Yeah, I agree, Haidar, if Coomer had at least picked Leon. I think Leon would have been a strong pick for him, even against the Rosenseal. The only thing that makes the electric feel a little bit less likely on Sissy is that her unique is a hat. So I think she's getting unique coinage here. Yeah, no electrics anywhere to be found on Hayl's team. Pete is ready. So Hakuo's game plan is now going to be to bull rush with Poly, hopefully get some good displacement, and then have D-Heart and Lostem both on her heels to pick off an unprotected unit. Thanks, Creighton. I'm not going to be winning this match, as I'm not playing in it. But I appreciate the enthusiastic support. Who was that? D-Heart with the breeze? Some minor tile erasure. Okay, so that D-Heart runs away. He was the only one who was really exposed there. No one else too worried. Funny thing about counting for Polyol is the answer of whether she can reach is pretty much always yes, she can reach. She can reach something. It's a question of if she can get in and do the thing that Hakuo needs her to do. McLean's in danger. Okay, so that forces a heal early in the turn here. Which is fine. Gotta say, my new internet is holding up pretty nicely. That was kind of the last thing on the slate of upgrades for my studio here, but I got better fiber op. Not like I ever really had a problem with internet being a limiting factor for my streams, but now I don't have to think about it at all. Alright, here we go. The Polyol makes her entrance. This is really just to throw damage down. A good time to do that as well, because Hayl isn't really left with anything that can dislodge her, so to speak. She's immune to all debuffs, so D-Heart's not going to be able to get a cheap stun on her to fog her. She also has her revive, so he's not going to be able to kill her. I think even if Hayl were to go for like an act again play and combo her, I don't think he has enough firepower with these units to fully take out both her lives. Maybe I'm wrong? Phalanxes are phalanxes, though. Starting with McLean is probably a good idea. Yeah, but D-Heart can't even get in and do anything to help that poly yet, right? Like, Hakuo just has to use this turn. Who's he gonna go for? Oh, I guess he can go for the Sissy. Oh, he gets all the way around. He's gonna try for the McLean! A second attempt on the McLean also fails. Okay, the benefit of that, at least, is that this McLean is hurting. But yeah, I don't know. 2 failed assassination attempts on this McLean now. With that, Hayl doesn't even need to burn his 2 units trying to take out that polyol. Yeah, he can just take out the weaker units that rushed in to try to support her. So that rush in with D-Heart there to try to follow up basically just exposed a free D-Heart for Hayl. Like I said, McLean is not going to be doing anything to this polyol, but he doesn't really need to. I mean, Lostum's still up here. Lostum's a threat, although not really this turn. I mean, I guess Sissy's out of guard range, but she does have those Shrine Maidens. I guess that's a good question for the chat, ATN, is what is the focus, what's the thesis statement of Hayl's essay going to be? So she's got a big AoE coming up here. McLean also not under guard. The water buys a little bit of time. Keeps that Lostum at bay for now. It's kind of an interesting push. All it really did was kill the infantryman. I don't think Hayl thought that was going to kill McLean. Does put him out of water, but Hakuo doesn't have any follow-up right now. I mean, Hayl can basically just regroup now. Polyol's totally out of juice. Like, all she's doing is body blocking at this point. I mean, she has a respectable amount of attack, so she can smack into Lightbringer with infantry soldiers versus her double Lancer, or unguarded units, which Hayl probably won't leave his units out of guard after this turn. So D-Heart out of juice for now. McLean can at least put some damage up. So yeah, to Moon's point about waiting for a better opportunity and going in later. Like, Hakuo's stuck back here anyway, he basically just had to burn Lostum's turn. So if he still had D-Heart and Poly back here, also burning off turns and looking for a better chance to jump, he's in a much better situation. Rosen can get back into guard range here if McLean moves out first. Oh man, Moondoggy, is that an exact quote, or is that just your perceived exact quote? Because it looks like an exact quote. How, ungentlemanly would it be for me to then stream the Salt novelization in Discord as well? I should put Discord up on the stream and wait for the commentary to roll in. ATN. I've also had 2 beers and I'm hungover. Classic. Dreadful Cobra, I think it's probably already over whether he loses another unit or not. All he's working with now, Polyel does nothing. All he's working with right now is this Lostum, who's already been shown not to be able to kill McLean. So you've got 2 tanks and a Lostum who can't kill the threatening DPS. It's going to be difficult for Hakuo to zone Hayl out of the middle, which would be kind of his other avenue towards victory. So Hayl just needs to keep his team together now and just start throwing damage at Hakuo's units while he moves in. That said, maybe things open up a little bit and Hakuo is able to attempt assassination against other units who aren't McLean. That will be what we'll probably see attempted here soon. His Skyline Tactics piloting fees are probably going to be going up after all this playoff success. I know I haven't even started my Skyline Tactics yet. Alright, so there is a perfect example of what we were just looking for. This Lostum being used for something, anything other than attacking into McLean. Hayl brought Lightbringer up to guard this little cluster and left his D-Heart open. Interesting also that Hakuo has not used a second of his backup time, whereas Hayl has chewed through quite a bit of his. Hey Bakira, welcome to the chat. I'm kind of hoping Hayl wins this just because I am looking forward to nachos. I know that's selfish. But it shows that I can put aside my previous playoff grudges for the sake of my stomach. Homemade, Pete. I make some good nachos. I make real good, like, just not fancy gourmet nachos. I make real nice jobber nachos that are just kind of like nostalgic from when I was a kid. Simple. Chips, cheese, couple toppings. And they're just, yeah, pub style, not healthy at all. Just delicious. Oh yeah, pulled pork. Yeah, I do something similar, ATN. I make a lot of chicken for lumberjacking purposes, and I'll chop up and season some leftover chicken and mix that with like black beans and put that over nachos. That's always pretty good. Okay, this Lostum does have his guard ignore skill back. He also does have plus attack plus damage dealt for this turn at least. So he's going to be looking for something. That said, what we are looking at is 2 full health Shrine Maiden units. So I don't know. Christmas-style nachos, Venorian. What's a Christmas-style nacho? To me, that would be like a shortbread cookie. Bunch of shortbread cookie chips with frosting instead of sour cream. Basically, just make cookies. Maybe I should do that, too. Might be a nice Saturday evening activity. Making and then consuming a bunch of cookies. Actually, I'm 100% sold on that idea. Hopefully Mrs. Kong is not watching this stream. There goes Lostum. This is all over. Hayl does have the damage advantage. Yeah, I was going to say, this is slightly interesting, but he's not going to be able to do anything. Like, he can't just sit there in mid and keep that advantage. So that is the end of that match. Hayl actually wins that one 2-0. We'll be a little bit provocative and say he won that 3-0 given his result of their earlier match. But yeah, some good pick ban for Hayl, or maybe some not as good pick ban for Hakuo. Leads Hayl out in advance on that one, and he'll be playing against 251k tomorrow. Before I go make and consume food, let's just take a look at the rest of these brackets. So, Cecil defeated Clint Fearless, and Trinhov defeated Will Underscore. So we're going to have Cecil versus Trinhov tomorrow. That'll be a good match. These guys are all still in combat. Probably a lot of people are still going to be in combat because Hayl's match was kind of quick. But just taking a quick look, Absol versus Jagger. Absol already up 1 game there. Cuck, he's not in 7th Heaven. No, I don't think he is. Gaul versus Katakuri. Gaul is up a game there. Tiny is still in battle against Sui. Oh, and it's 1-1 actually. That would be an interesting one to watch, but alas, we don't have tons of time. Interesting that Tiny took a game off him. Valabar in battle with Autorun, and he's taken a game off Autorun as well. Very interesting. It would be funny if Autorun... I shouldn't say that. I don't have anything against Autorun. Kenji is still in against Yusei. Cool's match is still on. I'm sure Cool is streaming that. Meow Sensei versus Whir. That'll actually be a good match to go back and watch later, too. I really like Whir's game plan. He's eliminated me from playoffs before, too. So Zanson won his game. He'll be facing off against one of the 7th Heaven crew. Speaking of whom, one of them is currently beating Viren. Jaden Nelson did get a forfeit against his guildmate, as anticipated. And MX also advances. Pay the Toll versus Sieged. And Pay the Toll's up there. Okay, sadly don't have time to go through all those interesting matches and pick out one to watch, but there are a few interesting matchups there that I'll definitely be coming afterwards. After eating nachos, making cookies, eating cookies, I'll be back in like 6 hours to see who won those matches. But yes, I will be back again tomorrow to stream whichever matchup looks the most interesting to you all, so just let me know either in the comments of this VOD, or on Maincord, or on Concord. You know how to find me on Discord. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. And yeah, we'll figure out a match that we want to check out then. So I'll be back then. Thanks for coming out today. Stay tuned for some salt from Hayl in main chord, if applicable, given that he had a fairly easy 2-0 victoire. And I'll catch you then. Happy Langrissing, everyone.